This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. Little Nas X. I have to cover this topic because for a lot of you it'll surprise you, for a lot of you it won't. But what really needs to be covered here is the obvious deception that's going on because these false idols, these government agents that have been put in place that we're told are celebrities, that are good this, good that, who can sing, who can act. The people end up worshiping these quote-unquote false idols, and then they follow their behavior. That's what social engineering is. That's the purpose of these quote-unquote famous people in our society. Little Nas X is a very famous person in today's culture, even though I couldn't possibly imagine who would listen to the absolute diarrhea that comes out of its mouth. But he is a herder of social engineer of the masses, including the teenagers out there specifically. And you might remember I covered Little Nas X. Well, I'll show you some of the stuff to show you the fruits of Little Nas X. But of course, like most of these people, Little Nas X is now identifying as Christian. And all it takes for them is to come out and just say that they're Christian. And everybody just believes them. And then they fight amongst each other. People will comment and they'll say, who are you to say that he's not Christian? Well, guess what? I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to fight about if a minister who preaches the gospel is really a Christian or not, other than Joel Osteen, of course, who is a government agent, which is fact. I won't go into detail about even people who I disagree with. I know people like to come after me and say, he's not a Christian because he yells and screams. Well, I think we can all agree that Little Nas X is not a Christian. In fact, Little Nas X is even mocking the fact that he is now Christian because he's now tweeting out, y'all mind if I enter my Christian era, where he's down on his knees and he's, singing, spewing, I should say, new songs which are supposed to be Christian gospel music. People out there don't realize all they need to hear is, oh, he's doing gospel music. These people reference the word. Everybody out there is under such mind control. They don't realize when they say God, they are referencing their God. Their God is Satan. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. So when you hear celebrities like Beyonce, like Little Nas X, know them by their fruits. Kanye West as well. All they do, and all they have to do for a lot of these dumbed down Christians to be deceived is all they have to say is, hey, I'm a Christian all of a sudden. They go, wow, that's great. Kanye West is one of us. Little Nas X is one of us. They've turned, right? But they haven't really turned. I mean, the Bible tells us in 1 John chapter 2, verse 4, whoever says, I know him, but does not do what he commands is a liar, and the truth is not in that person. So does Little Nas X look like somebody that follows God's word? I mean, let's take a look at some of the stuff of Little Nas X before I get into his tweets and what he's talking about with Christians. And he says, he even has the nerve to say some stuff about, he proclaims he can get on his knees, right? We all think of get on your knees and pray and worship the King of Kings. Well, he's talking about getting on his knees for multiple reasons. For those of you that don't understand how these sodomites or these perverse reprobates speak, he's talking about getting on his knees and doing something else, okay, on his knees, because of course, Little Nas X loves the Hershey Highway. So Little Nas X, let me just show you some of the stuff before I get into his story. And you can tell me if, of course, we all know that these people can change. We know people can change, not these people. A regular person can seek salvation, knock, and find God. The Bible tells us this, okay? What people don't realize is that these people are no longer human. For the most part, a lot of them are demon-possessed. A lot of them aren't even alive. A lot of them are clones, okay? And the only reason that a lot of these people end up trying to find God, pretending they try to find God, I should say, is to deceive their audience. So they try to say, well, I'm Christian now. And as a Christian, Little Nas X is saying, well, it's okay to be, for my sexuality to be the same. It's okay for me to do all these disgusting acts because I'm Christian, right? And that's how you water down Christianity. That's how you do things that are not of God's word. And that's exactly what the Bible's talking about in the verse I just read from 1 John chapter 2, verses 4, right? The people who say they know him but do not do what he commands, they are liars. And that's what these people are. They're nothing but liars and deceivers. So what did we have Little Nas X do over the years? Well, Little Nas X, of course, we all remember when he was infamously lap dancing with the Baphomet. Remember that? He was just sitting on his lap, right? People out there were like, whoa, he's so edgy. Like we haven't seen Satan before in music video after music video. But, people out there were still like, it's just art, right? And then it was art again when Lil Nas X came out with his Satan shoes. Remember his Satan shoes? Yeah, you could see him doing the all-seeing eye symbolism with the Satan shoes. Now, is anybody out there thinking that this is Christian? Is this, oh, well, he's changed his ways, right? Not to mention the fact that the shoes also had human blood in the shoes. Of course, for anyone out there that knows the occult, this isn't some Halloween type of marketing ploy like the dumbed-down zombies want you to think. Of course, it's because Satan feeds off of the blood of humans, blood off children specifically, right? So he had a little blood in his shoes, no big deal. Now, of course, we've seen some of the other stuff from him as well, not including, also including, I should say, the pentagrams that were on these shoes that he's marketing towards children. In his tweet as well, where he says, "Don't crucify me, I'm going Christian, still gay, cute, and petite," in his tweet. And of course, he's doing the shh sign. This is, of course, the vow of secrecy, the vow of silence, the oath of silence that all of these members of secret societies take, which is why you could pretty much find every single celebrity, even like recently in a thumbnail, I used Russell Brand, they all do the shh sign. Okay, it's not saying shh, I farted, don't tell anybody. It's not saying shh, I ate the last cookie in the cookie shell. Okay, it's because they're in a secret society, a brotherhood, and by definition, right? Secret society, we all know they exist. You can look them up, Freemasonry, etc. Okay, so secret means secret, that it's an oath of secrecy they take. So he's taking an oath of secrecy, and he's pretty much telling you that he's in a secret society. He's not going to tell you that he worships the devil openly, and even if they do, they can come out the next day and say that they're now converted to Christianity, and these idiots out there will believe him because they love everything they do and say. So what this does is it not only waters down the church, it deceives people out there to think that this is a part of Christianity, right? So teens are like, oh, he's Christian now. He's Christian now, and he's a pregnant male, because you might remember some of the photo shoots he did, or she did, whatever Lil Nas is, where with the pregnant belly. Okay, some of the other stuff, of course, he's walked the red carpet with the all-seeing eye, Illuminati pyramid on his coat. I mean, he's literally done it all, and this, of course, is nothing more than a mockery. It's nothing more than a mockery. That's what this is. Okay, his behavior might be the most despicable and embarrassing of any celebrity musician that's out there, which is one of the main reasons I'm covering it. And he's also one of the most famous musicians and celebrities out there, which is even scarier. So this is the headline from Yahoo and The Vibe and other mainstream media outlets. Lil Nas X enters Christian era with new song, tells critics he can still suck. Yeah, you know what? So he's saying that he's going into a Christian era, but he's still openly gay. Not only openly gay, openly, saying revolting, disgusting things. So Lil Nas X dropped a surprising new release via his social media accounts Wednesday night, as the pop and hip-hop star shared a snippet of a new Christian song. He said, "Y'all mind if I enter my Christian era?" He captioned the clip of himself from the passenger seat of a car, stepping out to sing the ballad, "Father, stretch my hands," he sings. "The lonely road seems to last the longest. Help me with my plans. Everything seems to go nowhere. Oh, free me from worry and wanting pity. Free me from all this envy in me. I don't want these feelings. I don't want these feelings. I call on angels," fallen angels, folks. "I'm trying hard to face my pain. Give me hope when I feel less." And of course, like I said earlier, he is talking about Satan. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, whose minds are, their God of this world. Okay, Satan, who is the God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who do not believe. Satan is the God of this world. That is who all of these people worship. That is what they're taught in their secret societies. When he's showing you him taking a vow of secrecy, well, the secret's really out. I mean, they suppress the truth by suppressing people like us from telling people and explaining what's going on here. And most people are too caught up in it because they love their celebrities. They love their false idols. This is a problem that we're living amongst in today's society. You'll see people who even comment there, "Give him a chance. Who are you to say he hasn't found God?" Well, I am to say, okay? I'm not going to sit here and judge, somebody else out there, like a regular person in day-to-day life, if they found God or not. Now, you judge them by their fruits, and if you want to judge a celebrity, you don't even really need to judge a celebrity because they're only celebrities to be social. They're agents. These are government agents. They are not there the way you think that they're there. This whole illusion of American Idol and, oh, you work hard, you sacrifice. They say all the time they sacrifice to become big celebrities. They're not talking about sacrificing by giving up their Saturday nights from going to the movies to sing and record in their homes. They're talking about ritual sacrifice. That's why they always say that. Nobody ever asks what they mean by sacrifice. Oh, I gave up my free time so I could write song lyrics, huh? And then the song lyrics like dee-da-da, I smoke crack, dee-do, dope, let's do dope, huh? Those are the lyrics. So did they sacrifice their time or did they write that in their sleep? Because there's nothing artistic about any of the crap they spew. It's engineering. It engineers your behavior. It makes people dumber and dumber. It makes people want money and fame and all these things that they constantly rap and sing about. And of course, then they do all these perverse acts and tell you they're Christian because they want people to think that they could be Christians and constantly willingly sin. These are all deceptions that they're using, of course, to dumb down even the young Christians out there who might go to church or might read the Bible, but not understand how to interpret it. And of course, their preachers are probably telling them, hey, you know, this guy's saved. Little Nas X is saved. He came out and he said he professed God. And the Bible tells us there'll be people that profess God's name and Jesus doesn't know him, right? Whoever says, I know him, but does not do what he commands is a liar. And the truth is not in that person. And Little Nas X, perfect example, right? So you can look at all the other stuff that he's done, and that should be enough for people to realize it. But no, you know, he goes on. So he says, making Christian music does not mean I can't suck you know what no more, he wrote. The two are not mutually exclusive. I am allowed to get on my knees for multiple reasons. That's his quote that he tweeted out. Okay. Now, some people out there obviously aren't dumb enough to fall for this. There's obviously Christians who are like, this is ridiculous. This is disgusting. But he's gearing towards a different audience. He's not doing this to troll. He's doing this to hurt. He's doing this to give even a new watered down mentality of what Christianity is. None of these people worship God. They worship the God of this world. They worship Satan. And that goes for Kanye West and the rest of them. They constantly come out, they pretend and profess to be Christians when they're not Christians, and then they herd their audience. They groom their behavior. They let them think that it's okay to sin. Well, Kanye's doing it. Well, Little Nas X is still on his knees doing this stuff that God set people on fire for in the past. Oh, but God accepts that, and it's okay. They're not mutually exclusive. The two are not mutually exclusive. Oh, no? Well, then you're not a real Christian, buddy. And it's pretty clear that you're not. We all know what you're doing. Those of us who understand Tavistock, who understand the CIA, who understand all of the operations that the government has done and the reason that these people are actually famous. I mean, they're all agents. I mean, we can go back to all these people who have been influencers over the years. I've covered them all. I mean, I've covered like Hugh Hefner, CIA operative. People are like, what? Hugh Hefner? Well, what do you think? He just was like, hey, I'm going to put pictures of nude women in a magazine. Then he becomes a billionaire. No one else came up with that. All the women who went through there were MK Ultra. I mean, that's, videos I've covered in the past. I believe those are up on the website, Uprising Revival, but they all are. None of them get there the way you think. There's a reason they constantly put this notion out there of how they become famous. Right? And everyone's like, oh, that's how they did. So they have something in place so they can argue with someone like me who exposes who they really are. And then, of course, other people out there get misled and their lives get destroyed because they're told that they can become famous like Little Nas X by hard work and doing this and doing that. And then they constantly strive for this useless reality that they can never achieve. And they go into deep depressions. A lot of them end their own lives. A lot of them never get out of the depression. They turn to drugs. They turn to alcohol. This is all done by these people. Okay, these people are criminals to humanity, all of them. That's why I've always covered the celebrities, because they groom the behavior. They're the ones responsible for this, underlying depression and stuff that grow inside of children. Not just social media, but these people and their behavior and how they tell you you can do whatever you want. It's a controlled profession. It's a government profession. That's what these are. You can't write a great script and become the next Steven Spielberg. Okay, Steven Spielberg makes the ultimate sacrifices. Steven Spielberg is one of the sickest people walking the earth, as is Scorsese, as is all of them. Nobody's getting inside of those industries. They're controlled industries for many reasons. Numero uno being that those are full-on mind control operations where the audience is under mind control and hypnosis the entire time. Okay, and then on top of that, you strive to be like these people and you want to do those professions and careers, which are unfilling careers that nobody should ever want to do. And everybody strives for those, thinking that they could achieve it if they work harder and harder and harder and don't realize you can never get in. It's the ultimate, dangling of the carrot in front of your face that you can never reach because it's not possible unless you're one of them. So these people are all criminals. And if these people were outed and arrested, you'd be able to take away a huge mechanism in the mass mind control operation going on. I know we always think about going after the Gateses of the world. These people, it starts with these people because they're the ones who are hurting and grooming the mindset of our society. They're doing it for their handlers above them, the Gateses of the world. But these people are responsible. Then you get the Christian aspect of it, right? where he's telling people he's Christian. Then he's like, I'm back. I'm still down on my knees. And it's like, what? And people are actually accepting this. And they're like, give him a chance. You know, I see people arguing. They're like, Christians are like, he's trolling us. Then others are like, give him a chance. He's coming out as Christian. Who are you to say who he is? Don't judge, right? Even though the Bible says, you'll know a tree by its fruits. I mean, you don't even need to use scripture to look at this guy to know what he is and what he's trying to do. But if you don't have a brain and you're not thinking, of course, you'll fall for it. Because Christianity has been overtaken by the tolerance love movement that the libs have been pushing, which is really a communist movement. And it not only does it water down our lives, it waters down the church. Because Christians just go, who's this guy on the internet to say that Little Nas X doesn't say, what does he know? Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's not. Okay, and even if you want to make an argument for him, he just said he's still down on his knees, okay? Oh, well, he's still allowed to sin open. I mean, these are all the things that these celebrities have done. I could sin openly. He could still live that lifestyle. Who are you to say if he's Christian? Okay. So anyway, back in September, Little Nas X's brother, Trayman Hill, came out as bi, according to Entertainment Weekly. Hill detailed how the 24-year-old opened doors for him living his own truth. Nobody's suspicious, by the way, of how all these celebrities, all of a sudden, like throughout history, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? Celebrities in Hollywood, like nobody was. And then they pretend like, oh, well, that's because they were ashamed to come out and admit it. Right? Now now every other person you know is one of these people. And there's no mind control experiment going on here, right? And then every celebrity makes sure that them and their brother and their sister are. Now, a lot of these people have been through abuse themselves. And when they get put through the abuse at a young age, they end up having this perversion because that's the perversion that they're exposed to at a young age. Because the majority of these wicked Satanists, from Hillary Clinton all the way to, somebody in Hollywood, you can pick anyone you want because they're all in on it. They abuse people of the same gender, the same born gender, because their sick perversion, it's revolting. I don't even want to mention it. It's too early in the day for me to even talk about that. But he goes to say, my brother really opened doors for a lot of people. Yeah, he opened a door for me. What I mean by that, like, I'm not gay, though. You feel me? I'm bi. He helped me be real with myself. My brother made me more open to it. None of that makes sense, of course. But none of the stuff these people say makes sense. And that's why you see the teenagers regurgitating stuff. They don't even know what they're saying. I don't even think they're on autopilot. They're just not even, there's nothing in their heads, right? My brother really opened doors for a lot of people. Yeah, he opened a door for me. But he's not gay, but he's bi. Oh, okay. Excuse me. I don't know the proper definition here. And I'm a fire hydrant, by the way. That's what I identify as. I mean, the stuff that these people say, the confusion they cause, that's what Satan is. He's the author of confusion. And most of these people are just beyond confused, don't even know what one thing is from the other. And it's very easy to see once you understand how mind control works. You have to really believe that it works first. Instead of letting them tell you that it doesn't exist, that hypnosis and mind control aren't real. These people will watch videos of hypnotists doing hypnotism on people, right? But then when it comes to this stuff, they're like, that's not real. That's not how it's done. It's mass hypnosis. That's what it is. Okay? And these provocateurs, these celebrities, are responsible for a lot of the stuff, if not all the stuff going on in our society, because they're the ones hurting the behavior of everyone else. So Little Nas X is Christian. Isn't that great news? He's Christian, but he wants you to know he's still on his knees, ladies and gentlemen. He's still, pumping his shoes. I don't know if I think they claim they took them off the shelves that had human blood in them with the 666, the pentagrams on it, lap dancing with Baphomet, posting pictures of himself pregnant, doing all-seeing eye symbolism, doing the symbolism. But, he's a Christian now. Yeah, and I'm the Tooth Fairy. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always, and your families.